Okay, last clip. This is my fifth attempt. Hub, all the cutting and sand and polishing done. I tried to bring you some of the final cutting when I was putting the fillet in here with the round cutter and stuff. And of course the battery went dead. So went in, stuck you on the charger. So we're done here. What we'll do is we'll get the angle finder, angle gauge deal on here. And then we'll kind of get an idea of the angle that we're going to cut in this thing here, and we'll obviously tape it up, take it over to Rich's and run it through the bandsaw and cut it, sand it, and bring it back, get it drilled and tapped, and get a steering wheel bolted to it, and then we can slide it onto a steering shaft. Rich came over and made up a pitman arm for us. I don't know what I did with it now. Take 5, right? It's here somewhere. But I drilled a hole in a piece of metal, and then he came over. Here it is. I laid it out, and then he cut it out and took it over to his house and sanded it down. So one pitman arm. We'll put a rod end, a tie rod on the front, on above and below it. That way, if we need, once we get it all done, if we drive it and we want the steering wheel a little further away, we leave the steering shaft a little long down here with a locking collar and a pin, and we can move it down and put both the rod ends on top, or we can move it up if we want it closer and put both the rod ends underneath. It gives you a little bit of adjustment down the road so you're not tied to whatever you've done. Learn that by experience, man. Steering shaft kit is cheap. I think that big old long steering shaft was like 12 or 15 bucks, but you don't want to have to do this every time you take it out, right? So that's it. Ben, I hear you. John West couldn't believe it when he was here in December, and if you all watch those videos where we foamed him up that seat, Johnny's got a complete machine shop and stuff. He does motors and machines all of his parts and pieces, and he's always been that way. And he was kind of amazed when he was packing up to leave, and we were walking him out to the car. He looked around, and he says, "Robert boy, it really is amazing that you can put a go-kart on the racetrack, at the quality and in the condition that it is, coming from a place where you really have no means to do this stuff." And the bottom line is we do it all by hand. That's why we have the FYI channel or do-it-yourself channel, right? So you do it yourself. Doesn't necessarily mean you got a machine to do it. Sometimes you got to do it by hand, right, Brent? Right? Nothing wrong with being a little caveman action. There's nothing wrong with that. It takes longer, but you definitely get a better sense of pride out of it. John, for instance, wanted me to build that 250 laydown of his, and I told him no. I at the time I had the problems with the back. I couldn't do it. I couldn't promise him that he would get it on time. But I told him, listen, you're going to have a sense of pride when it's finished and you accomplish what you set forth to do with that cart at Daytona when you've done it all by yourself. So we talked on the phone. He'd call right in the middle of mixing fiberglass and epoxy, and he'd send me pictures. He'd ask questions. He watched some of the videos, and lo and behold, more than a year later, granted it didn't go as planned the first time down to Daytona, but he's working the bugs out of that cart right now, and I would not be surprised one bit if he's set some speed records, lap time records, in the whole 9 yards in that cart this December, and he can say, just like Frank Sinatra, "I did it my way." He did it himself. He did it all himself, and you get a greater sense of pride out of doing things yourself. So could I have bought this hub that I spent $60 on a foot-long piece of aluminum, where I've got enough to make 4 of these now. So let's say $15, and in 2 days, parts of 2 days, cut and grind a machine in it. But I could have bought an angled one-piece hub for probably $50 or $60, and a multiple adjustable angle hub for like $90. What fun is that? It's the do-it-yourself channel. It doesn't mean bust out your wallet and buy it yourself. It means do it yourself, right? So that's what we do. I like making my own stuff, even if I have to walk the extra mile or 10. That's it for Sunday the 23rd. The rain's coming down, of course. I cut the grass yesterday, and with the rain, she's going to be jumping right back up tomorrow. So that's it from RPM headquarters here in Racine, Roseville. We're done for a Sunday. We're going to go in and kick it in the lazy boy for a while and rest the back a little bit. Had to put a patch on this morning. I hurt more after a night of sleep than I did before I went to bed. So that's it. Godspeed. God bless. We're praying for you. Pray for us. We need it too. And we'll bring you some more as we're getting her going. Mini lathe. She kicked ass and took some names. It took 2 days, but she got her done. We'll talk to y'all. God bless.